Hello and welcome to another SY Diagnostics video, and today we're looking at a Ford Cougar, which just happens to be my vehicle, and the engine management light's on. No idea what the fault is, I've got no symptoms, so without further ado, let's roll the titles and let's get involved in the diagnostics. Okay, so as you can see, or maybe not, let me just zoom in a little bit there for you. Engine management light is on. I've just come back from filling the car up with diesel, just nipped to the shop as well. Have noticed as well it seems a little bit flat, but that could be because it's really windy at the moment, so I'm not taking too much notice of that. So engine management light's on, so let's plug in the Forscan, the diagnostic tool. Let's see what fault codes we've got. Let's check the job further. Okay, so we're plugged into the car. Let's just fire up Forscan, recognise the VCM. Okay, looks like we've got a fault code in the engine there, hopefully. Yep, we have. And it's finished its scan. So let's go to DTCs, and we've got P0135 O2 sensor heater circuit, bank 1, sensor 1, circuit open. So that's fairly self-explanatory. So let's pull the wiring diagram up and see what we're looking at, where the sensor is, if it's accessible. Bearing in mind it's a Sunday, we're on lockdown, and I've got minimal tools at my disposal. So let's power up and let's have a look at the wiring diagram and take it further still. Okay guys, so I've pulled up the wiring diagram for the heated oxygen sensor. I've expanded it so it's a tiny little bit blurred but still readable. That's the sensor we're looking at, with the classed as number 11, which obviously means bank 1, sensor 1. And we are looking at the heater circuit side of things, so we're just concentrating on pin 5 and pin 6. As you can see from the wiring diagram, pin 5 has a 12 volt supply, which is live in engine running or ignition on. We've got no issues on the second sensor, so it would suggest we've got no issues on the 12 volt feed. However, we do have a splice joint there giving it the 12 volt feed up to the sensor itself, so we need to be checking that we've got 12 volts on pin 5. The first test I'm going to do, though, the easiest test, I'm going to disconnect the oxygen sensor, and just using a multimeter set on ohms onto resistance, I'm just going to go across pin 5 and pin 6. What I should be seeing there is approximately 2 to 6 ohms at ambient temperature. Fault code does say that it's open circuit, so there's a good chance there I am going to see out of limits. If we do get a reading, then I'll take the testing further. We can then check the wiring, the control side coming from the PCM, and the best thing to do there, which I'm going to do anyway because it's always best to test and not guess, is I'm just going to erase the fault code and I'm going to pop a bulb across the disconnected multi-plug with the engine running and make sure that the bulb lights up or flashes to show that we've got control from the PCM to control the heater. Nothing worse than changing the oxygen sensor and the car coming back, especially because it's my own car, and the fault code is still there and it's still the same fault code. So people then often just put another oxygen sensor on it and then the fault code comes back once more, when if we can nip it in the bud to start with and verify that the whole circuit is working, and if it is proven that the oxygen sensor is at fault, then we change the oxygen sensor and job is fixed. All we need to do then is erase any adaptation values and reset any adaptation values should the need doing. So onto the car now, let's do some testing and let's get this diagnosed. Okay guys, so we're at the vehicle now. Apologise for any wind noise or any tree rustling sort of noises. There's quite a few trees around here and it is blowing quite a bit of a gale. I'll have to get a windsock sorted out for this camera. So I've found the connector. I've just disconnected it out of its little clip that connects it to the harness, and as you can appreciate, if I was to zoom out now, it is quite well buried. Keep zooming out. So what we're going to do, I'm going to disconnect the connector. There you go, fully zoomed out. Disconnect the connector and we'll start with some testing. Okay, so these are the tools we're going to be using. Just a basic multimeter, a test light and a couple of back probing leads. Not really necessary, you can use the back probing test leads built into the meter. However, these do make the job a little bit easier. So let's disconnect the connector and let's start the testing. Right, so we've got the connector disconnected. This is going direct to the sensor itself. So we're just going to now test the resistance of the heater circuit. Remember, we wanted pins 5 and pin 6, which on here is the yellow wire and the blue wire. So we connect our breakout lead to that one, and I'll get this one. Any problem I've found with these breakout leads, I'm not going to say where I got them from, but they are from the UK, they're not Chinese ones. I did a video on them, and I must admit, I'll go back on my word, they aren't very good quality. The pin on this one has just been, well, it's the wrong pin, completely different to the other one. It's as slack as a slack thing. So let's get this one. I've also had a couple break off, so in my opinion, I'll speak as I find, I don't recommend them personally. Alright, that one goes on okay, so I suppose 4 out of 6 in this yellow set isn't too bad, I suppose, but it's not like they're cheap in the first place. Right, so let's go get the multimeter. Okay, I'm hoping you can see that, as it's not too much glare on the screen. So I've got the multimeter connected up now to the breakout box leads. First thing we do a plausibility test on the cables. As you can see, that's all okay. And then what we do is we'll go into that connector and that connector. And as you can see, if I just put my hand over there, we've got open circuit. That's indicating we've got an open circuit on the heater element itself of the oxygen sensor. So we do need a new sensor, but we also need to test the 12 volt supply to it and the control side and make sure that's all okay before we run around the garden dancing and all happy that we've diagnosed the fault. So what I'll do now, I'll get the test light all rigged up and we'll test the live feed and the switching side. Okay, so this is the harness side of the connector, an 8-pin connector. I've got my test light here. If you remember from the wiring diagram, red and white wire is the 12 volt feed, pin 5. If I just lightly go at the side of the connector there, and if you can see that, there you go, you can just about see that the light is lighting up. So we've got our battery voltage there. And what another test we can do is I can see on the ground side, the switching side, whether we have a bias voltage or anything like that, and that can indicate then that we've got a full circuit from here back to the PCM. So I'll just get the multimeter again and we'll check for a bias voltage. Okay, I've got my multimeter rigged up. If I go into pin 5, then we've got 11.6 volts, battery's getting a little bit low, and pin 6, which is the control side, we have a bias voltage there of approximately 4.4 volts. To me that indicates then we've got no wiring issues between this sensor plug and the PCM. So what we can do now, I can pop a bulb into pins 5 and 6, delete the fault codes that we've got stored, start the engine up, and hopefully we'll see some control and the bulb will start flashing or light up. So let me just go get this rigged up for you. Okay, so what we've done, we've now deleted all the fault codes, it's error free. I've connected into the harness side of the connector into pins 5 and 6, and then what we've also got is the test light connected to either side. Let me just move the camera. So one side of the test light is connected to pin 5, the other side is connected to pin 6. And what we shall do now, let me just zoom in, there we go. I'll start the engine up and hopefully we will see that the light lights up and we've got control from the PCM to the heater circuit. thus confirming 100% that we need a new oxygen sensor. So let me just go start it up. May take a short while, and it should come up quite dim because it's a PWM signal. And there we can see it's just starting to glow dimly, indicating that we've got voltage and the circuit is active. You see it starts to flash a little bit there. So that's confirmed the diagnosis. We've confirmed now that we need a new oxygen sensor. So thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing. Please give me a like. Please leave a comment. And until next time, thanks guys.